Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, please mansplain it to the woman. Yeah, go ahead.
As a white man,
Yeah.
I can do whatever the fuck I want
I've noticed that.
without consequence.
Yeah.
For example, I'm rubbing Jenny's knee right now.
I have to let him. Yes.
When he said it, I snuck to see if he was doing it for real. Michael and Robin, here's your headline. Mr. Greedy, penguin with blank, dead at 33.
Penguin with plan to take over Gotham City.
That's right. That's right.
The answer is more than 200 offspring.
Oh,
Wow.
that's why they call him Mr. Greedy.
Wait, I thought penguins made it for life.
Well, not Mr. Greedy.
Oh my God, Mr. Greedy's a hoe.
You knew what you were getting into when you fell in love with Mr. Greedy.
Does Mr. Greedy know Nick Cannon?
Poor
There's an
Dick
elephant.
Ken.
That's a donkey. That's the caution.
Fentanyl.
Yep.
Fentanyl. Yes.
You
Babies.
can't have that fentanyl, little baby.
It's IVF.
Points.
Nice.
Okay.
Get it right. This is the story of the Senate's inability to pass its
Let me ask you
IVF.
this, because I know this is going to be an IVF question, and I don't know the answer to this. Does the F in IVF stand for fentanyl?
Is that not an effective defense strategy? I don't want to get all, law and order on you up here, but the old I did nothing wrong, therefore that evidence should not have been made public defense.
The old Shaggy, it wasn't me defense.
That's right. Wait, is this a Scooby-Doo reference, or is this Shaggy the Singer? Shaggy the Singer. At least I know there's a Shaggy the. Don't yell at me.
You think Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is on the level of Shaggy from Was It Me, Shaggy? There's only one Shaggy.
I don't know who you're talking about
Oh,
right
yes.
There's more than
We
one.
were doing so well.
now. I don't think we were. Doing so well.
What Shaggy do you respect?
That's my Shaggy. That's American Shaggy.
He was until the blacker Shaggy came. Yes, what Shaggy did you think I was talking
Because he doesn't wear a neckerchief.
At this point, I'm wondering if I can go over to that side.
Here goes. How did I forget that I had given her an extra key?
Yeah. I don't know that song.
Oh, come on. Damn it.
I feel like I could play Sarah Huckabee Sanders in the movie version of Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Oh, Jesus. It's something to brag about.
Oh my God, I see it. I see it.
Every time I see her, I think, my God, I look just like her. Speaking as a black lady, I just want to say that
I'm not a black lady. Yes, you're strong. Yes, you're beautiful.
and proud.
And you are quite proud.
He's so close. Oh my
So
God.
Bonus question for everyone but Michael about this odd one out. Who can tell me why the NYPD Blue guest star Michael Ian Black left NYU?
I think he left to become an actor.
Or become
I think he got
a famous television star. Or cable television star.
He left to start the state.
According to the 2014 documentary Turtle Power, Michael Ian Black dropped out of college to play Raphael in a promotional campaign for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stage show.
I have a question. Raphael? Yes. You dressed as Raphael? Did you ever march in a parade as Raphael? Let me clarify. I wasn't on the stage show. It's actually sadder than that. I was hired to travel ahead of the stage show to promote the stage show, which I wasn't in.
You were fluffers.
So we would go
You were
to Pizza
fluffer.
Huts and radio stations, and then sometimes we would do the weather at local television stations in costume.
Oh God, I love this so fucking much. Every actor has had that job, but
Not every actor. Being an advanced carny turtle.
it wasn't even the real Raphael.
Here's a standard question and answer that we would get sometimes. Ask me what my favorite pizza is.
Hey Raphael, what's your favorite pizza?
3 pizza.
Isn't it wild if one of us here was on Cameo? Michael, do you know if any one of us is on Cameo? Are you on Cameo? Michael, how much would it cost for me to get you to say, fuck Sandy?
Fuck who?
80? The vice president kept it cool all night. There was one point where it seemed like she might slip. See if you can spot it.
A place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this
Son of a bitch.
This, oh yeah.
She wanted
Canada,
to
come on,
say something
Canada,
like,
you want to invade Canada? What are you fucking stupid?
This motherfucker.
Technically,
Yes.
it's our turn, so I would like to say, motherfucker.
Did you say motherfucker? I think
What
she
do
did.
you think she was thinking about saying?
I'm deferring to my partner here. It seems clear. I didn't notice that in real time. I'm
I know what she meant.
I'm seeing it now.
She meant
I
big
mean,
cracker
that's
ass.
4 p.m.
That's another one that could be.
Yeah, honky mother.
That starts here. Right. Motherfucker
Dead
starts like this.
honky.
Right. And you're right. It was a deep right.
Right. Fat legs disappeared.
Boy.
Yeah. What does she want to say?
What if she?
What does she want to say?
She would have won the election.
What is all right?
You
All right.
motherfucker!
You know, we're live right now.
Shut your
Yeah?
fucking
Yeah,
mouth!
yeah, I got it. You're not gonna get tired.
You can hear us?
Maybe.
That's
You don't
awful.
really hear that shit.
I've been saying all kinds of bad
Rick
things.
Goodfield
Did you
used to
listen?
know
What did
every
you say,
NBA
Beth?
song by heart. Good job.
I don't
As he
remember.
told the
That's the whole
Observer back
trouble.
in 2007,
Nobody's
quote, I got
watching
to
anyway.
rap very early.
I bet
I
you
can
got
do
one
every
viewer.
NWA song by
Yeah, well,
heart.
that's one
Michael,
more than
bonus
I would
points?
like to hear.
What does
No,
NWA
no,
say?
Say the
no.
wrong
That,
thing.
that,
In
that,
this America,
that
you
one
know,
is me.
you have to worry about
Think
things
about it,
like
I'll
this
come back
in
to you.
today's America.
Anyways, we haven't really been saying much. But mostly it's TV. I think it's mostly during the TV.
I hope so.
A bitch
I
is
hope
a...
so.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I hope to God.
Nice lady.
Anyways,
I don't think he would admit to being on cocaine for every frame of Jaws
this
3D.
is not really a
literally be the first thing he would tell you if
political
you asked
forum
for a
anyway.
baby Jaws 3D.
I feel like favorite beverage.
And I don't even
Water
think I
was
said
one that is
anything
so
like
weird and specific.
resident.
Our writers aren't that good.
Do you want to get invited back on the show?
What are you doing? Oh, I see.
I'm
Now, that is one.
You're so good.
Then I want to say on cocaine. That's what I want.
I want to go with water with Splenda. Now, look, I'm the team captain, so I don't want to tell you, Alex.
Yeah, the camera's pointing down the neck of my guitar. You can actually probably look it up and view it.
Oh, that's a good idea. I left.
For those of you that have not seen the film, Jaws 3D is just Dennis Quaid in the bathroom at 3 in the morning describing Jaws 1.
Roy, can I have the camera for 1 second?
Yeah.
To the writers of this show,
Good writers.
I am so sorry. You are clever enough to come up with my favorite beverage is tap water mixed with Splenda.
I told him.
If I ever meet any of you, I will apologize in person.
He's weird. I think he's trying to steal some of Steve Colbert's personality. You know, trying to channel him somehow.
It's been a long longer than Colbert, honey.
I think he's around as long as Colbert. No, yeah, no.
He was around before Colbert.
Oh,
He was around before The Daily Show.
so was Colbert.
Not on TV.
He's fucking on Kids in the Hall. On stage.
That's
the
true.
state.
But that's
I
true.
know, I see
But
him.
anyway, I don't think that.
I remember
mean,
seeing him a long time ago.
I don't know if Michael Ian Black came out of Second City.
But I know he worked with Tom Lennon. And
Stephen
Trudy.
Colbert doesn't work with him
No.
unless he says a guest.
I haven't seen them working together at all.
Yeah,
It's
so.
like they're all got. I think they're East Coast.
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't know if they came out of the, because that's where Colbert and Carell and practically everybody from this SNL and that show was all Second City alums.
Yeah. East Coast.
Aykroyd and
North Coast.
Aykroyd and both of the Belushis and a whole bunch of people. Carell got Colbert his job at The Daily Show. I would have thought it was the opposite because in the Even Stevens, Carell seemed so dumb, but that was, his part of the act. Because he was the more dominant that he helped Colbert's career. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama, she was getting ready.
Carell
She's like, I love.
Was content with having a character that pretty much relied on one very, very old, stale line.
Who?
Carell. Steve Carell did Carell's character in The Office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which line?
That's what she said.
Oh, well, that
It's just like, that was, he carried that to, the end, right off the edge of the cliff. Yeah.
We never watched The British Office, though, and I think that we really would need to watch that before we make any judgments about the choices that they took.
No, I think that was a character choice. I think that was a choice he made. I want to make this
As
character.
things went on, yes, but that's why I'm saying, because Gervais actually came to America and did The Office, set it up here. So it was Gervais's baby over there.
Uh-huh.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
the way he
would have to translate it into American because it is so fucking different than it is, just the way you behave is different.
But the way to carry a character in the subtle line, well, that's the character I'm going to do. If that's what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with it all the way till off the edge of the cliff. Mm-hmm. With that stupid line, and you're going to expect it every fucking show, and I'm going to say it every show. And yeah, I'm content with that. Take it.
He doesn't want to go out and walk with us, does he?
No, he wants to just scratch.
The Carters. I'm definitely not going to miss that. I will definitely be here. Well, let me look at these secret. But Trump sure was doing a whole lot of talking now, wasn't he? You could tell he don't spend a whole lot of time in church. Because you definitely not supposed to be talking that much. Welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. I want to start out by sending prayers and love out to the Carter family at the loss of the former president and great humanitarian. It was a beautiful service that was conducted at the National Cathedral. And like many of us, I went in with one singular question. Is Trump going to show up?
You can see President-elect Trump now entering the room for this morning's service.
Al Gore, Mike Pence there with former President Trump. I'm not sure former Vice President Pence and Donald Trump have seen each other since
when? Since when exactly was the last time? Since they constructed that medieval apparatus on the mall and were calling for Pence. Since then, would that have been the last? Time. And shout out to Karen Pence as well for standing on business. She's like, oh, you gonna shake that man's hand for the reason why you roaming around the house for 18 hours a day, giving fake speeches in the backyard. I'm not.
Mike Pence there with former President Trump. I'm not sure former Vice President Pence and Donald Trump have seen each other.
Nah, that ain't gonna be me. No, you do that. And matter of fact, if you shake his hand, you gonna have to hear about it because you can't believe that. Say you married me, so you gonna protect your family. You can't even protect yourself. I didn't know who did it because y'all heard the campaign, right? Y'all heard everything that was said. You heard it, but you still wasn't really after all the murderers, all you just right there, huh? And speaking of standing on business, Michelle Obama, she was getting ready. She's like, oh, I love the Carters. I'm definitely not going to miss that. I will definitely. Let me look at these secrets. Nah. Yeah, we not doing this. Yeah, but I have an issue with my seat. Yeah, I have an issue. No, because I saw what happened. I saw what happened when he went overseas. And I cut my sinuses. Yeah, to suffer my sinuses. So I can't. I'm allergic. Yeah, I got an allergy. You can be in the other aisle. For security purposes. Okay, well, you know what? Well, how's security gonna handle me being at home during this whole thing? I agree with that. Now, I'll say I have no idea why it is that Michelle Obama was not present, but something has come to mind.
A convicted felon. A predator found liable.
But Trump sure was doing a whole lot of talking now, wasn't he? You could tell he don't spend a whole lot of time in church. Because you definitely not supposed to be talking that much. Definitely not at a funeral. Really? Where's Michelle? See, last time, definitely catch her on standing on us. And she don't like that bottom of the first hand. She don't get to the bottom of the first hand. She didn't want to turn it down like that. So she's just waiting for y'all that's why I got charged. You know, I'm like gonna run the third out. How about we do it again in 2028? You know what I mean? But it's just a championship. Obama versus Trump for the future of humanity. Man, I know you lying. You gonna give me a whole 4-year head start to pick up charges so I can go in with 34 felonies like you did? It's a wrap. You know they'll never let the brother with the 34 felonies. Why you ain't tell Mark Robinson that? Why you ain't tell Mark Robinson? I also thoroughly enjoy these as well. Now, as much as people that were watching the stream had a lot to say about Trump all during the ceremony, I didn't have a particular issue with Trump. It was Melania that bothered me. Who sits at a funeral with a mean mug? You know, like she's sitting at a funeral like she's ready to fight somebody in the let out. I never seen somebody so mad who just got a free $40 million for Amazon to make content nobody will watch. I text you. All right, we can do that for this before we get some pancakes. You know, I'm down there right now because I got kids. And you have to thoroughly enjoy Doug being forced to while complimenting Obama. We've all been there before. Anybody that has been forced to have conversation with their significant others, friends, and their spouses, we've all been in this situation with the one caveat that generally that person is not attacking me and my wife directly. Yeah. And my daughter as well. Generally that hasn't been. Well, I didn't even give Doug Emhoff a medal for not throwing hands. He needed to retroactively give Doug Emhoff a medal for conducting himself with class and dignity, because if he would have left them handcuffs, we all would have understood. I also thoroughly enjoyed seeing the vice presidential section with Al Gore and Mike Pence. Hey, you need me to walk you out of here? I can walk you out of here because I heard they're still looking for you outside. Now, there were a ton of people in the comments that were very upset that Trump attended the ceremony, although there were many references to Trump during the ceremony. That I can assure you.
You know, we have an obligation to give hate no safe harbor and to stand up. My dad used to say it's the greatest sin of all, the abuse of power. That's not about being perfect, because none of us are perfect. We're all fallible. But it's about asking ourselves, are we striving to do things, the right things? What are the values that animate our spirit? To operate from fear or hope, ego or generosity.
But I will say this. If he wouldn't have gone, then we would have dragged him for that, right? If he would have not gone with all of the other former presidents to President Carter's funeral, we would have ate him up for that. So the fact that he showed up, I am willing to look like he was on the scene. I had been there too. So I have more than enough grounds to drag Trump for this thing or that. I can't drag him for this one. I'm going to let that go. Congressman Max Miller, on the other hand,
They need to call this what it is. Anti-Semitism. That's what this is. That's what the ICC is going after, and that's what you're condoning. From the gentleman of Massachusetts, and I see the support on the other side of the aisle with all your colleagues sitting next to you, but right alongside. I yield back.
I find to be incredibly disappointing, given President Carter's stature in this country and his commitment to human rights. Shout out to Massachusetts General Governor for him up for that. Actually tried to promo on the fact that the Democrats actually were against President Carter. We say there's no bar low enough for Franklin in 2025, and they come with things like this. Well, at the very least, we can say that people have been overall respectful of President Carter.
He was a terrible president. That's why he lost in a landslide after his one term. And if it's possible, I think he was even a worse ex-president because of his meddling in U.S. foreign policy, because of his saddling up to dictators around the world, because of his vehement views, anti-Israel views, and war gambling and anti-Semitism over the years. He often vexed Democrats. Obama didn't even have him speak at his 2008 convention. He put Bill Clinton in a terrible foreign policy box on a North Korea nuclear issue. I think he was a guy who had a huge ego and believed that he was uniquely positioned to do all these things, even after the American people had roundly and soundly rejected his leadership. So I respect people who run for president and get elected president, but in his particular case, I think he time and again proved why he was never suited for the office in the first place.
Notice I said people and not trolls. I would take my time right now to go in on Scott Jennings, but Jack McRocket ate him up right there on CNN this week. Don't worry, I'll have that coming for you as well.
There was some interest in the fire departments and the firefighters in California, and the interest was there were too many white men who were firefighters. We need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters. So we have to if your house was burning down, how much do you care what
the most educated demographic in this country right now is Black women. So let me be clear. Because you are a woman, or because I know that some of the right has been sharing these photos of the fact that I believe that the fire chief may be a woman. That has nothing to do with it. We are looking at qualifications. What diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been about is saying, open this up. Don't just look at the white men. Open it up and recognize that other people can be qualified. And the fact that we want to, at a time when people are dying, decide is failing for people are dying because the same very people that built this country, because the last time I checked, y'all didn't say that anything was wrong with the White House, and I can promise you, it was my ancestors that built the White House.
But I wanted to give some air to the grandson of President.
Yes,
Carter,
Queen.
and that is Jason Carter, who spoke beautifully and really hit the mood of the day and of the man.
My church sing a song that says, from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. I don't know how many people here can say that, but I know I can. From the moment that he woke up until he laid his head, his life was a testament to the goodness of God. And I thank all of you for being here to celebrate this life. To the presidents and first ladies, it is a great honor to have you here. You know the human side of the American presidency like no others, and we appreciate you. To the vice presidents, other distinguished guests, and friends of all kinds, thank you for being
Barack
here.
Hussein sitting right next to
To
him.
those of you who came from all across the world, thank you for
What?
being here to
Barack
celebrate
Hussein
and
is
pay
sitting
tribute
right
to my
next to him.
grandfather. I say grandfather, but
Same.
Papa, you know,
Just saying.
we call my grandmother Mom.
Just saying.
We spend our time talking about
Just saying.
Mom
Hussein.
and mostly speaking of the human side of the presidency, just letting people know that they were regular folks. Yes, they spent 4 years in the governor's mansion and 4 years at the White House, but the other 92
You
years,
throw everyone off when somebody says, "See you later, alligator." You respond with, "I'll just go the way I came in."
And one of the best ways to demonstrate that they're regular folks is to take them by their phone. First of all, it looks like they might have done it themselves.
Because, a caiman is a kind of reptile,
Second of all, my
aquatic
grandfather was
reptile
likely to
that
show up at the
is
door in
closely
some
related
70s
to
short shorts and
crocodiles
Crocs.
and alligators.
And then you'd walk in the house and it was like thousands of other grandparents' houses all across the
Caiman.
South. Fishing trophies
Get
on
it?
the walls.
Caiman.
The refrigerator, of course, was
I'll
papered
just go all the way I came
with
in.
pictures of grandchildren and then great-grandchildren. Their main phone, of course, had a cord in the middle of the wall in the kitchen, like a museum piece. And demonstrating their Depression-era roots, they had a little rack next to the sink where they would hang Ziploc bags to dry. And demonstrating that they changed with the times. Eventually, he did get a cell phone, and one time he called me sort of early on in that process. And on my phone it said, "Papa, mobile." So I answered it, of course. I said, "Hey, Papa." He said, "Who's this?" I said, "This is Jason." He said, "What you doing?" "I'm not doing anything. You called me." He said, "I didn't call you. I'm taking a picture." Nuclear engineering, but I had a bit. They were small town people who never forgot who they were and where they were from, no matter what happened in their lives. But I recognize that we are not here because he was just a regular guy. As you heard from the other speakers, his political life and his presidency for me was not just ahead of its time, it was prophetic. He had the courage and strength to stick to his principles even when they were politically unpopular. As governor of Georgia half a century ago, he preached an end to racial discrimination and an end to mass incarceration. As president in the 1970s, as you heard, he protected more land than any other president in history. 50 years ago, he was a climate warrior who pushed for a world where we conserved energy, limited emissions, and traded our reliance on fossil fuels for expanded renewable sources. And by the way, he cut the deficit. Wanted to decriminalize marijuana, deregulated so many industries that he gave us cheap flights and, as you heard, craft beer. Basically, all of what you're seeing was the first one. And he can make great playlists, as we've heard as well. Maybe this is unbelievable to you, but in my 49 years, I never perceived a difference between his public face and his private life. He was the same person, no matter who he was with or where he was. And for me, that's the definition of integrity. That honesty was matched by love, it was matched by faith. And in both public and private, my grandparents did fundamentally live their lives in effort, as the Bible says, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with their God. Sometimes I feel and felt like I shared my grandfather with the world. Today is one of those days. But really, he shared the world with me. The power of an atom, the beauty and complexity of the South Georgia forest. When we fished, he celebrated the majesty of everything from the smallest minnow to that grand circulation of waters. me shared this love with my boys. Taking these Atlanta public school kids out in the fields to talk about row crops and wild flowers. In the end, his life is a love story. And of course, it's a love story about Jimmy and Roseland and their 77 years of marriage and service. As the song says, they were the flagship of the fleet. And rest assured that in these last weeks, he told us that he was ready to see her again. But his life was also a broader love story about love for his fellow humans and about living out the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. I believe that love is what taught him to reach the power of human rights, not just for some people, but for all people. He focused him on the power and the promise of democracy, its love and freedom, its requirement and founding belief in the wisdom of regular people raising their voices, and the requirement that you respect all of those voices, not just some. That conviction made him a naval officer who believed and demonstrated, as you've heard, that the greatest power of America was not the military, but its values. And those values were personal to him, and he lived them both publicly and privately. As you heard Stu say, as president, he gave voice to dissidents, stood up to dictators, brought countries together in peace. His heart broke for the people of Israel. It broke for the people of Palestine, and he spent his life trying to bring peace to that holy land. And he talked about it at the dinner table. It was the same in public as it was in private. And for the last 40 years, as you've heard, he spent his time living out that love and that faith alongside the poorest and most marginalized people in the world. And that work, again, has been based fundamentally on love and respect. The Carter Center has 3,500 employees, but only a couple hundred in the United States. The rest are spread throughout the countries where we work. Ethiopia, South Sudan, Chad, Bangladesh, and all of the Carter Center's programs are based on respect, that same respect for the power of regular people, even if they are in tiny villages, miles from anywhere else. To give one example, we've all heard a lot lately about heart disease. It's an ancient and debilitating disease of poverty, and that disease will have existed from the dawn of humanity until Jimmy Carter. When he started working on this disease, there were 3.5 million cases in humans every year. Last year there were 14. And the thing that's remarkable is that this disease is not eliminated with medicine. It's eliminated essentially by neighbors, talking to neighbors about how to collect water in the poorest and most marginalized villages in the world. And those neighbors truly were my grandfather's partners for the last 40 years. And as this disease has been eliminated in every village in Nigeria, every village in Sudan or Uganda, what's left behind in those tiny 600-person villages is an army of Jimmy and Rosalind Carters who have demonstrated their own power to change their world. And that is a fundamental truth about my grandfather. It begins where it ends. When he saw a tiny 600-person village, and everybody else thinks of as poor, he recognized it. That's where he was from. That's who he was. And he never saw it as a place to send pity. It was always a place to find partnership and power, and a place to carry out that commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. Essentially, he eradicated a disease with love and respect. He waged peace with love and respect. He led this nation with love and respect. To me, this life was a love story from the moment that he woke up until he laid his head. Conclude with this. As Andy Young told me, he may be gone, but he's not gone far. The outpouring of love and support that we have felt from you and from around the world has shows how many lives he has touched and how his spirit will live on in many ways for us. He'll be in the kitchen making pancakes, or in his wood shop finishing a cradle for a great-grandchild, standing in a trout stream with Mom Carter, or for me, just walking those Georgia fields and forests where he's from. Thank you.
What happens when we reach the Great Attractor? Could astronomers hide their knowledge of UFOs? And why doesn't NASA look directly for life like they did with Viking? Answers to all these questions
every horizon.
in this question show. It's time for the question show. Your questions, my answers, as always, wherever you are, across my channel. If a question pops in your brain, just write it down. I'll gather them up and I will
You want me to
answer
rub
them.
that on your
All right,
back?
let's
Oh,
get
no,
into
I
the
got it.
I
questions.
promise I won't try to
Question,
pull
Sally.
you up or
Given
anything.
the
It's not that.
aerial phenomena reports
I got
of
the
UAP
spots I
reports,
needed
is there any
already.
genuine
I hope.
extraterrestrial
Okay,
contact
well,
being effectively
anytime.
hidden from the professional
This
astronomy
is the stuff
community
that numbs
by
you.
governments?
Yeah.
There is
Numbing
no
Yeah, you
way
gotta make sure you wash your
that
hands
you
after
could
you do that
hide
so you don't
the
rub
Touch
your
your
eyes.
lips
arrival
and
of spacecraft
eyes,
from
lips.
space
Yeah.
and it not being noticed by astronomers. I mentioned the incredible impact that the Vera Rubin telescope is going to have on the astronomical community. It's going to be watching and scanning the entire night sky, looking for anything that is changing from night to night to night. And so, if a alien mothership wants to arrive in any direction that is seen by Vera Rubin, it's going to get picked up. And I think, like a lot of people think that the way astronomy works is somehow that there's a bunch of government astronomers and they are doing their work and then they show their higher ups at the government and the government approves whether or not they're allowed to go ahead with their research. It doesn't work like that at all. Like astronomy is a collection of professional and amateur astronomers. You've got small observatories, large observatories, space telescopes run by dozens of different countries in different locations around the world. There are tens of thousands of astronomers, and they work for universities or they work for research institutes or they work for government. The Vatican has an astronomer and their own observatory, and that they are constantly doing their work, constantly scanning the night sky. They are writing papers. They're not going through any kind of
Because I don't know enough to know whether
he's some sort of
he's a presenter, and he presents things,
There's
and
like
if he
the
doesn't really
archive
know
where
his subject
people
really
share
well, he'll
first
admit
draft of their science paper. There's the astronomer's
But
telegram where
he's a
astronomers
presenter,
are just
and
communicating in these huge sort of Discord-like server where they're talking to each other. Anyone who wants can go in and listen and read. All the material on archive is free to read. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just read all of the papers. And often the first place you see them is on archive. I gotta say, 80% of the papers that make it to journals were already published on archive. So the entire scientific process for astronomy, and really for most sciences, is incredibly open, just done at near real time, and nobody is watching, and nobody is like trying to stop anybody, and
That's
nobody's trying
because-
to oversee
because it
anything.
requires a lot of
And,
reading.
and the way these kinds of
You got to
people
focus
are,
on
right?
what you want to
That
read
when
about,
Oumuamua, the first
because there's
solar
just
object
so
discovered
much
here in the
information
solar system,
out there.
Somebody
You
reported
cannot, no one
spotting
human can
an asteroid
bring it
that was
all in.
moving on a trajectory that suggested that it might be moving on a hyperbolic trajectory, that it was going to probably leave the solar system.
That's just
And yet
astronomy.
other
There's
astronomers
other
turned their
subjects
telescopes on the same
just
object
as
and
equally
evaluated it and
vast.
confirmed the trajectory, and then people started to point larger telescopes
I did
at it.
research
The
when I
secret
was
out.
in
Everyone was talking about it at that point.
school.
So I think like people,
When I did a
before they have,
paper, it was
like,
about hydrogen
experienced
power.
what it's like to be part of the scientific community, and just
And,
how much of a cacophony
I was
of voices.
There was
and
volumes
programs and telescopes
and
and
volumes
places and
of
NASA
published
and space
paper
agencies and all this.
on
More people
hydrogen power.
experience that directly. They don't realize just how much of a
Volumes of
vibrant
it.
ecosystem it all is, and how impossible it
In the
would be
early 80s.
to hide any information. And also, astronomers wouldn't shut up about it, right? They love to explain and try to. And there's sort of a great saying. I forget how it works, but you don't have to worry about people stealing your ideas. If your ideas are any good, you're going to have to jam them down people's throats. That the only way that people make progress in science really is by sharing the results, having debates and feedback with other scientists, and hammering away on problems until the truth finally reveals itself. And that just does not play well with secrecy. And so, anytime anyone suggests that there's some kind of, not even conspiracy, just like some kind of attempted cover-up, some kind of way that various people in charge are hiding, like I immediately discount that idea because of just how open and vibrant scientific progress is. Cosmos Drago. Let's review a little NASA is looking for life conspiracy between delays to MSR, Dragonfly going to Lakes, and placing the Uranus orbiter ahead of the Enceladus orbiter. Well, I think that's ridiculous. Obviously, that there's any kind of vast conspiracy that says that NASA or any space agency is looking to delay. I mean, you may have the Mars sample return mission sort of falling apart because the budget was starting to expand outside of what anyone was willing to pay, but the Chinese are still planning to do their sample return mission. I think
That's why we're completing ours.
Search for life
Because
took a
can't let the Chinese beat
back
us
in
to
the
it.
1970s with the Viking experiment, right? So when the Viking landers went to Mars, they had these really cool experiments on board
Mars
where they would
belongs
pick
to
up some
Elon.
Martian regolith. They would
I'll
feed
give
it
him mine.
some nutrients. They would increase the temperature, give it some water, and would then measure the outgassing that happened in the experiment. That would tell you whether or not there was just microbes living in the regolith. And the problem was that the outcome was inconclusive. Now, some people are absolutely certain that life was found on Mars, and other people are not sure that life was actually found on Mars, and they think that in fact these are just natural gases from the kinds of chemicals that are in the regolith, and no one can really double check. Obviously you could send another mission, but you might just get another inconclusive result. And then you had the Allen Hills meteorite, where if you remember President Clinton announcing that life had been found on Mars, and here we are 20 years after that, and nobody thinks that meteorite was evidence of life on Mars. It was interesting, but definitely not conclusive. And so this sort of running forward to try to prove that there's life on Mars or on any other place in the solar system had to slow down, and that they wanted to build this overwhelming, conclusive case that there actually is life on another planet, or if there isn't. So that's how you saw Spirit and Opportunity from any possible evidence that there's ever water on Mars, and they did. And then you got Curiosity, which was trying to find out whether or not there had been water on Mars for long periods of time in the ancient past, and it did. Now you got Perseverance, which is saying, were there conditions for life? Were there the kinds of organic chemicals? Were there the kinds of raw materials available to be present for life? And in that, the jury is still out. It's found a lot of really interesting things, but the work is still ongoing as Perseverance still searches around. And so, all of those things that you mentioned, dragonflies not going to the lakes, there's lots of good technical reasons why you wouldn't send a helicopter to the sort of extreme poles of Titan. Having a Uranus orbiter ahead of an Enceladus orbitlander, near the Tiger stripes, the south pole of Enceladus, is really complicated. And a lot of this is all still up in the air. I mean, no firm schedule has been set for when these transmissions will go. But finding evidence of life in the universe, finding evidence of life in the solar system, is one of the most important discoveries that humanity can possibly make. It tells us that life has, formed independently on other places here in the solar system or out there in the universe, or maybe they're related to life through panspermia. But either way, you get one of the most impactful sort of pieces of scientific knowledge that has ever fallen into the hands of humanity. And so you want to be sure. You don't want to go through times where people are inconclusive. Nobody argues that water was once present on the surface of Mars. The evidence is overwhelming. And that's what you want to get with life. You want to go have the evidence be overwhelming. Nobody questions it. But that requires being very, very careful, doing a really good job, sending the right equipment, with the right resolution, the right experiments, to be able to get you a conclusive result. And when you consider how far away it is and how difficult it is to get to Mars or Enceladus or Uranus, that sending sufficient
Couldn't say Uranus with a
to
straight
give
face, could you?
conclusive
Just
result
say it, Uranus. Come on.
process. And there's,
Don't be a pussy.
If you don't get the conclusive result,
Say Uranus.
I think it makes the search for life, just in general, look less legitimate. So I think
If you ain't a pussy or Uranus, it's a tank.
If you want to support the work we do at the Universe Today, consider joining our Patreon club. Your support lets us have a minimum of ads and no sponsorship messages. Patrons get no ads on universetoday.com for life. Want the extra parts of the live stream that aren't in this edited version? You can sign up for a special Patreon where get the overtime segment, as well as other special behind-the-scenes episodes, including our monthly Patreon-only question show. Thanks to everyone who's already subscribed, and welcome to our recent newcomers: Mr. Pink, Benjamin Carrier, Ruth Petitsky, Gordon Fulton, Santiago Tranfo, and David Sprout. Join the club at patreon.com/universetoday. Astronomy 66. I don't understand the Hubble tension. How will resolving the differences in the expansion rate calculations advance science? What will scientists be able to do with this information? So the Hubble tension, this is a measurement of the expansion rate of the universe that doesn't agree with two different measurements. So there are many ways to measure the expansion rate of the universe. I mean, we know that galaxies are moving away from us in all directions. When you measure that expansion rate of the universe, you get one number. And that also you can measure the expansion rate of the universe in the cosmic background radiation. And when you compare the measurement in the CMB versus the speed of galaxies moving away from us, you get a different number. And the number is close, but the number is not the same. And for the longest time, the error bars of the two numbers overlapped. And so people just assumed that the error bars were going to go away, that the two measurements would finally settle in on what is the right number for the expansion rate of the universe. And what they found was, as they got better and better at measuring the expansion rate, the two error bars narrowed down, but they didn't overlap. And so you got these two numbers. And now the people who are measuring the expansion rate of the universe based on galaxies are really certain. And they've double-checked their numbers, triple-checked them. And then the people who measured it from the cosmic microwave background have done the same. And they're absolutely sure that they have measured the expansion rate of the universe. Those numbers disagree, and that is the Hubble tension. So why is that important? Well, where it's important is that you have to explain it, right? Why? How could the expansion rate of the universe is really well understood and can be tracked over vast periods of time? How is it that you get these different numbers? So the one possibility is that it's a measurement error, that someone has made a mistake somewhere with the measurement relatively nearby or the measurement that is made in the cosmic microwave background. That's almost always the answer, is that somebody's made a measurement mistake. And yet, the people who have made these measurements are the best in the business and have done really good work. People have double-checked their work,
people double-check the double-checking of the work, and these numbers hold, then what you're left with is that your underlying assumptions, your theories about the universe itself, the way the universe has evolved over time, are missing something, that there is new physics, that maybe at some point in some weird middle time over the expansion of the universe, things sped up and then slowed down again, or maybe have continued to speed up and then only recently slowed down, or maybe it sped up at a time before that first measurement was done. And each one of those then has to be explained. Like, what could cause the universe to change the rate of its expansion beyond the factors that have already been accounted for? And that's what makes this really exciting. You know, people call it the Hubble tension. It's like a crisis in cosmology, and the crisis makes you think there's something bad happening. But this is an opportunity because the theories about the nature of the universe haven't provided a lot of places to look for things that don't fit. It's when you look for the things that don't fit that you can start to expand the theories and start to understand things at a more deep level. It's the weird stuff, the anomalies. Those are your guide to deeper theories about the nature of reality. And cosmologists are fortunate enough to be getting these cracks, these weird anomalies, and they're then having to try to chase them down and figure out the source of them. So I think, the Hubble tension is this sort of revolution in our understanding of the universe, an opportunity to go back and figure out some of these held understandings that so far have just been beautifully explained, the evolution of the universe over time. And now you can see that there's a deeper theory. And we know there must be deeper theories. We think about the fact that quantum mechanics and gravity can't be sort of connected in any meaningful way. It tells you that there's more to this universe that we understand. Why was there more matter than antimatter in the universe? Why do we see these large-scale structures in the universe that shouldn't be possible? And it's only in starting to find these interesting anomalies that you can start to more deeply understand the laws of physics in the universe that we find ourselves. So it's a really exciting time in cosmology, and we're going to see a lot of really interesting work get done. And good news is that a lot of really great tools have come online in the last couple of years. We've seen the Euclid mission. There's the upcoming Nancy Roman. There's the Virud Observatory. There's the DESI, the Dark Energy Survey Instrument. So there's a lot of really great tools that have just come online to try and help answer this problem at a time when we need the tools. So it's really good timing. Rev MSJ. What happens when we reach the Great Attractor? Something? Nothing? So from what we can tell, the Great Attractor is a concentration of galaxies on the far side of the Milky Way. It just happens to be that the core of the Milky Way obscures our view from the far side of it. But thanks to infrared telescopes, thanks to radio telescopes, we're mostly able to see through the dust and gas of the plane of the Milky Way and see what's going on the far side, to see all of these galaxies that are sort of gravitationally connected, bound as part of the Great Attractor. And what is a Great Attractor? It's a galaxy cluster that we are a part of, a larger sort of concentration of galaxies in the universe. And so, what happens when we reach it? Well, we're kind of already in it, and we will never reach it. So, the Milky Way is bound to Andromeda and M33 galaxy. So those are the three big spiral galaxies and then a cluster of dwarf galaxies. And those are the ones that will eventually merge into some larger elliptical galaxy billions of years down the road. But all the other galaxies that we can see in the universe are moving away from us, and in fact, you see accelerating away from us thanks to dark energy. And so we will always be moving away from the Great Attractor. Now, we are still gravitationally influenced by the galaxies in the Great Attractor. It's changing the direction that the Milky Way is moving away from the Great Attractor and other galaxies in general. But we will not end up inside the Great Attractor. We will only end up bound up and form a large, we will only merge with Andromeda, the Triangle of Galaxies, and all those dwarf galaxies around us. Everything else will just move away faster and faster and eventually fall over the cosmic horizon, including the entire Great Attractor. All right. Thanks everyone who asked questions both in the YouTube comments as well as everybody who showed up for the live show that we record. Now we're going to have the time for the next live show somewhere here on the channel, and so just make sure you click on the notification bell. So if you want to be able to join that live, it's a lot of fun. About 600 people show up and just hammer me with questions for 2 hours. All right, I want to talk about the book club, but first I'd like to thank our patrons. Thanks to Abe Kingston, Adam Schaefer, Andrew Gross, Bradley Griffin, David Gilton, David Nance, Dennis Alberti, Dustin Cable, James Clark, Jerry Matter, Jim Burke, Jordan Young, Josh Schultz, Paul Rowan, John Sargent, Spiderswap.io, Stephen Fowler-Melly, and Vlad Chip who support us at the Master of the Universe level. And all our patrons, all your support means the universe to us. So one of the things that we've been doing on the channel is maintaining a book club, and this is very simplified. We're not reading the books together. You are telling me, you are controlling me, you are the puppet master telling me the books that you want me to read, and I am going to then read the book as ordered and then provide my review here on the channel so that the people can find out about that book and enjoy it or not enjoy it. So the link to the book club is going to be down in the show notes, but it's at Goodreads, and so you can join this community, list books that you want me to read, and then I will pick from this list and I'll read them and I'll tell you what I think. And I've kind of run out of books, so go to that Goodreads community and go ahead and post some suggestions that you have. All right, happy reading. We'll see you next time. You're watching the Legal Breakdown, and Glenn, we've got some breaking news, some rare good news out of the U.S. Supreme Court as far as Donald Trump's sentencing is concerned. Can you explain what just happened here?
You know, Brian, if we can't get some justice, what we are about to get is perhaps the next best thing, because the U.S. Supreme Court just rejected Donald Trump's efforts to put a stop to his sentencing hearing scheduled for Friday on his 34 felony guilty verdicts in New York. And let's remember, the crimes he was convicted of, found guilty of by a jury of his peers, 34 felony crimes of falsifying business records designed to hide from the voters of New York.
See the blind man shooting at the world.
2016 election. So the Supreme Court
Bullets
just
flying.
handed down its anxiously awaited opinion, and let me read it because it's
Taking
only 3
control.
sentences. Here is what the justice said. They said,
And if you've been bad, yeah, I'll bet you have.
presented to Justice
You
Sotomayor
have
and by her referred to the court. So the full court decided this
by
issue
flying
is denied
land.
for, among other reasons, first,
You better
the
close
alleged
your
efforts
eyes.
from
Yeah, you better bow your head.
on appeal. Second, the burden that sentencing will impose on the
Wait
president-elect's
for the
responsibilities
ricochet.
is relatively insubstantial in light of the trial court's stated intent to impose a sentence of unconditional discharge after a brief virtual hearing. And here is the part that should perhaps surprise exactly nobody. There were 4 defending justices. 4 justices wanted to, let me use a word, shit all over those juries' 34 guilty verdicts.
No.
Dishonor the service of those juries and by extension all of the people of New York, and put a stop to Donald Trump's sentencing. Who were those 4 justices? Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, Justice Gorsuch, and Justice Kavanaugh. They said they would grant the application and put a stop to Donald Trump's sentencing. Interestingly, and perhaps also surprisingly, Judge Amy Coney Barrett sided with the 3 more liberal justices, and Chief Justice Roberts crossed over and joined the 5-justice majority. So that is where this issue stands as of this moment, and we are going to see Donald Trump not only sentenced on his felony convictions, but we will now have the next president of the United States be a convicted felon.
And for posterity here, there is nothing now that the Supreme Court has weighed in here that Donald Trump can do to put off or prevent this conviction and the lack of any actual sentencing, any accountability for it. But at least this conviction will stand firm, and he will officially be a convicted felon after this.
Nothing that would be lawful Donald Trump or his lawyers can do to stop this sentencing train from rolling on Friday.
We're basically at the point where, short of them pulling the fire alarm in the courthouse on Friday, this thing is going to stop.
Yeah, and who would put that past Donald Trump and his underlings to pull a fire alarm or do something that was the equivalent of that? But let me just talk a little bit about what we can expect at Donald Trump's sentencing hearing, because we don't really know precisely what the prosecutors will argue. When we go to the sentencing hearings, and I did more than I can count in my 30 years as a prosecutor, what the prosecutor does is present the people's case in aggravation. What does that mean? It means we highlight not only the jury's verdict, not only all of the felonies that Donald Trump committed, but how he committed them, why he committed them.
It's not spinning anymore.
What's that?
The washer.
Oh, doesn't it spin out anymore?
you up. I'm so sorry, honey.
Okay. There we
Yes.
go.
Okay.
Huh?
These cats that I'm hanging out with here.
Oh.
Oh, now.
No. There's my number one fan right there.
What?
The number one fan.
I'm your number one fan? Oh, he is. Yeah, there he is. Yep, you good old doggy. There's a delay on this.
What's that?
There's a delay on this.
Yeah. A little bit.
What do you have the sound cut off?
Yes. I'll show you what happens if I don't.
There's an echo.
Oh, no,
Probably
it's worse
feedback.
than that. Much worse than that.
Oh, worse than feedback?
I'll tell you it's worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
that whistly kind of thing is a kind of feedback loop.
Yeah, it is feedback loop.
Yeah,
And
that's what I said. You're
But
acting like
it's
this
weird.
Is what
The weird thing about it is, if I rewind it a couple minutes, it still finds its way back into there, and it's weird because it
it's
should
like
be.
that pattern that you see when somebody's wearing just a certain sort of
Mhm.
fabric print that if you know what I'm talking about, interference pattern, is that what it's called? Something
Yeah.
like that.
So I haven't figured out to make a good recording. I cannot record over the top of something. I have to mix them later.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the whole thing is mixing the two. You can't just do that on your cell phone.
Oh, that's why you have the cakewalk.
Yes.
We got to learn how to do that. Make that.
Well, I'm game. I'm interested too.
Okay.
So
I got to get next thing I'm going to get is like something to patch to turn audio into digital signals somehow. Either I was thinking
that
maybe
a
I could
DAW?
go Bluetooth into a, get a Bluetooth device instead of a cord. Then it could go Bluetooth.
That's not, you don't need to have a DAW in order to do it.
I got one.
Oh, you have one already.
Yeah, that's what Cakewalk is.
Cakewalk. Okay.
It's a free one.
I would like to be able to add my own sound to a video, and I don't know how to get the two things together. I downloaded something and it's not letting me do that. YouTube used to let me do things like that, but I don't know if they do anymore because I'm on my cell phone, and that might be what's limiting it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Might be because
I don't know.
YouTube hasn't gotten with the times with the cell phone shit. They're still like, oh no,
Yeah.
you're uploading
Yeah.
videos from fucking kids playing in the band, in the high school band or junior high band or whatever.
Well, they want them to.
You're still uploading those kind of videos there. This is MySpace kind of stuff. Holy schmitz.
We got cats out there?
No. Why would there be any cats out here?
Is it turning into is it turning into sleet?
It's raining like a mope. No, I'm not doing that. I don't think it's cold enough to do that yet. You can see your breath though.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's cold enough for that.
I'm not going out there to walk with you.
No,
Later.
Bubba's not going there. He doesn't look like he's all that interested in going out there either. Does you?
Poor cats.
Poor cats. I know. Okay. I want to try this experiment here. I know it seems uncomfortable right now, but this is a lighting thing. All right. Get my wire back. But yeah, I want to go Bluetooth to get rid of the wire. Stretch the limits. What I can. Huh?
Look at the house you are showing the whole world. You turn on the light and it makes it even worse.
Turn the light up again. I just wanted to see if I can make the.
Sorry.
I just wanted to see if it would balance out the light from the TV.
Yeah. Frank.
What?
What do you think would be the best mashup? Star Wars and Alien, or Star Wars and Predator?
Well, I think Alien and Predator are the same thing anyway, now, today, these days.
Well, they have been made
They got
movies
different-
together.
Yes, they have made it or something. Something weird happened to them.
Well, the Predator always was collecting species to make the DNA better. They were trying to make themselves the greatest killing machine. And that's what they went to hunt the species for.
I always thought maybe Star Trek and Lord of the Rings. That would be a mashup. It's, imagine Captain Kirk versus Gandalf.
Charlie Hopkinson has already had a crossover with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and even bringing in some Harry Potter.
Star Wars, an interview with a vampire. Yeah, let's get fucking weird shit. Uh-oh.
You unplug it?
No. He could if he really wanted to. He didn't want to though. Because he's a good dog. He's a smart dog. He knows what he's doing. Not like a cat. They know what they're doing, but they're evil. They do it.
preview.
Weird, isn't it?
President-elect Donald Trump had
President-elect Donald Trump had gone through every appeal. He petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to block sentencing of his highest profile court case.
Sorry.
Hmm. Oh, okay. What's that? Don't do that. Mm.
Sadly mistaken.
a more aggressive style. I gotta do this. have sown. And as the fear grows, the bad blood slows and and it's too late to lose the way you used to need to throw around. So have a good drown as you go down all alone. Drag down by the stone. Got to admit, I got just a little bit confused. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it seems to me it's not just being used. Yeah. They got to shake off, it's creeping away. And if I don't stand my whole ground, how can I find my way out of this maze? Deaf, dumb, and blind. It's keep on pretending that everyone's expendable. No one has a real friend. And it seems like looking to isolate a winner. They had everything done under the sun. They live a high by the man who was broken by trade personnel, who was fitted with collar and chain, who was given a pat on the back, who was breaking away from the back, who was only a stranger at home, who was crowned down in the air, who was found dead on the floor, who was dragged down by stone. Who was dragged down by yeah. Look at that.
What's that noise? What's that rattling noise? Cool, I like it.
No. It's coming from somewhere between this microphone. That's why one of the things I want to do is I want to move the mic because it's not coming off this amplifier.
Yeah.
I never heard that. It's coming between the microphone that's on the camera and the computer. Now maybe I'm overdriving the microphone. Maybe I'm overdriving the fuck out of that microphone. I don't think so, but maybe I'm rattling the fuck out of it.
Rattling the fuck out of it, eh?
Yeah, maybe it's not damped correctly for what's going on there. It seems to work on hard hits. Otherwise, it kind of gives it an explosive sound, doesn't it? A gated distortion.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Well,
see, it doesn't start squealing now because I backed it up about 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes.
thank you. Oh, no, I wasn't gonna, I knew it was there.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, everybody's having weather where they are too. One of them's in,
Maybe it's YouTube. It's made it so that I have to sound like shit unless I paid them. We're not going to ever give you good sound.
you don't sound like shit.
It's buzzes like that, I do.
Oh. Well, it's like you say, it's obviously something to do with something that's picking up. It's either the mic that's on your thing or it's your pickup. One or the other. And it rattles when you do a certain movement that makes me think that it's.
Well, it's when I hit it hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah, it was buzzing there too, and I wasn't hitting anything hard.
Well, I don't think you
But I
hear
got,
the buzzing and
but I got a white. No, I don't hear it coming off of there because it's coming off of that. Because this is a different direction than that. See, I got the pickup going to the amplifier.
Yeah.
And then it's getting picked up again by the camera.
Right.
So it's in the camera, or the camera and probably the camera.
I'll be right back. Would you like something?
No, thank you.
Would you like something else out of the refrigerator or freezer or anything?
No. Uh-oh.
Stuck on a duck?
No, something even worse. Something disastrous.
Oh no. What do you mean, sharded?
Well, almost.
Oh Jesus.
No.
Tray.
The thing sharded. I can show you in a minute what's going on. But this is oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Squint.
Yeah, like
late. I thought you were doing it on purpose.
No, I didn't hear it coming out. At all.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
hear
the
that
thing
at
about it.
all.
No, that's the thing about it.
I didn't hear that at all. You didn't hear it at all until.
Yeah, but I didn't know if you had some kind of effect to it.
But I've heard it before like this, yeah. So, but I've heard it before do this, so I just trying to maybe nail down what's going on. I mean, I guess it's just the visual effect right here. And I'm just trying to get the visual effect of looking down the barrel. But the sound that comes from that webcam, this is up to, check this out. No, it's okay. Shaking it. Come back with a different tool. Maybe a more aggressive style I gotta do this.
Oh shit, I forgot my coffee. There's a lot of buzz on your guitar anyway. Something it doesn't like, the microphone doesn't like something. You think you could adjust it post production? So it isn't like with photographs where you can, yeah. Well, that sucks.
That's why I gotta get better sound.
That's why.
I'm just a little bit confused. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
see that shot looking down the neck toward the or vice versa. It's an interesting shot. It allows people to see what the makes it interesting. But you really need to get a green screen. Or at least a sheet.
A white one, right? Nice white sheet.
I don't need for you to wear. Would you mind if I changed it?
Oh, go ahead.
You don't mind? Because you kind of went on for quite a while. It's almost over anyway. Well, I'll just listen to it. More than an hour's worth. I want credit for this. Sitting through it to the end. Gotta give me certain wifely credit.
Yeah.
So what did you spill in here? That you showed me that. Did you finish what you came in to do?
Yeah, there you go.